TMZ is already reporting that the district attorney is charging his former soccer coach in his murder. It's important to note that we've learned today that Oscar's former soccer coach has also been charged with sexual assault from a prior case stemming from February 2024. This includes intent to commit rape, and he'll likely be implicated in Oscar's disappearance and death. As you mentioned, the 13-year-old told his mom that he was going to his coach's home in Lancaster 2 Fridays ago. On Friday, March 28th, he was going to paint jerseys for the team, and he told his mom his coach was going to pay him well. But Oscar never returned home, and his coach's communication with the family went cold. Oscar was found in a ditch 70 miles away in Oxnard 5 days after he went missing. His cause of death is still unknown. His family suspected their son's coach was behind his disappearance from the start. Now, his coach was slated to appear in a Lancaster courtroom earlier today. His case was continued. He essentially hadn't been processed yet. As for this 4 o'clock press conference, it's expected to begin momentarily. You'll be able to watch it live along with us in just a couple of minutes. That's the latest downtown. I'm Rachel Menitoff. Sam John, back to you.
We'll be watching, Rachel. Thank you. Today, President Trump met with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House. He is the first foreign leader to meet with Trump since the president instituted the worldwide tariff plan. Netanyahu says Israel will move to balance trade with the U.S., but did not go into specifics. The two leaders are also discussing the war in Gaza and the wider conflict in the Middle East. President Trump also made a surprise announcement revealing the U.S. will begin direct negotiations with Iran over their nuclear program.
We're having direct talks with Iran, and they've started. It'll go on Saturday. We have a very big meeting, and we'll see what can happen. And I think everybody agrees that doing a deal would be preferable to doing the obvious.
President Trump went on to say the situation with Iran is moving into, quote, dangerous territory. He added the U.S. and Israel are working to free more hostages from Hamas in Gaza.
We're following developing news after a wild ride on Wall Street today, with President Trump standing firm on his sweeping tariff threats.
Stocks were sent swinging amid growing fears of a global recession. KTLA's Kimberly Chang is in our newsroom with reaction. Kimberly.
Hi, and despite President Donald Trump isn't backing down, reiterating earlier today that China has a deadline of noon tomorrow to remove their tariffs, or he'll add more tariffs on China.
This is America first. It's now America first.
President Donald Trump stressed he will not pause his tariffs plan. He remained undeterred despite intensifying concerns of a destructive trade war. Uncertainty contributed to a turbulent day on Wall Street.
We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals.
The president doubled down Monday, saying if China does not withdraw its 34% increase by Tuesday, the U.S. will impose additional tariffs on China of 50% effective Wednesday. If President Trump follows through, that would be on top of what he announced previously, bringing U.S. tariffs on imports from China to a combined 104%.
I have great respect for China, but they can't do this. We're going to have one shot at this. We have been just destroyed. What they've done to our system. You know, we have $36 trillion of debt for a reason.
I think in the short term, I think what we're likely to see this is going to increase the cost of goods sold, which means that we're going to have to pay higher cost for everything we consume. China is still a substantial amount of exporter to United States.
The president said other countries have been taking advantage of the U.S. for years and insisted that his tariffs are necessary to rebalance global trade and rebuild domestic manufacturing.
There's a lot of threats and counter threats, and we know there's going to be some negotiations. Obviously, a tremendous amount of uncertainty.
Christopher Thornburg with Beacon Economics says consumers should expect to pay higher prices, especially when it comes to cars.
I mean, there are stuff that's made in Mexico that comes to the United States, gets put in another piece, gets shipped to Canada, gets put in another piece, goes back to the United States, gets installed in the car, and the car is sold to Mexico. If you're putting tariffs at every level, you're really going to mess with this production process, and that's going to be a real problem for the auto industry.
Thornburg's advice: be prepared for a rough road ahead, which could include higher prices and higher interest rates. He said try to put yourself in a position where you're able to weather the storm by having a cushion. Reporting in the newsroom, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
Kimberly, thank you. Exactly 3 months after the Eaton fire destroyed entire neighborhoods in Altadena, community leaders tour the hardest hit areas for a firsthand look at the recovery process. The tour comes as an important debris removal deadline is quickly approaching.
KTLA's Angelique Cockaday joins us live from Altadena with the story. Hi, Angelique.
Yeah, hi, John and Sam. Listen, we spoke to city officials today who said they are not just committed to rebuilding Los Angeles, but rebuilding in a smart way. Their tone was one part reflective, but mostly just a message of hope. As the Los Angeles region marks 90 days since the Palisades and Eaton fire killed 30 people and tore through more than 16,000 structures.
Today is exactly 90 days from the day that Los Angeles changed forever.
The city and county are still grappling with the aftermath, says Councilmember Tracy Park, who took Monday morning to tour recovery efforts in Altadena.
I've had the opportunity in the last 90 days to meet with representatives and visit other communities that are also a part of this ever-growing This Sucks Club.
The tour was supposed to be a coming together of city and county officials, Park representing the West Side, including Pacific Palisades, and Supervisor Catherine Barger sharing best practices on rebuilding. Barger last minute wasn't there. Park's instead touring fire zones with Barger's staff.
We are working on integrating our city, county, state, and federal partners.
Speaking to press after the tour, the council member addressed insurance claim issues and infrastructure financing, while reminding people to submit their right of entry forms to be included in the free debris removal program by the U.S. Army Corps. That deadline just a week away.
The Army Corps' timeline is likely late summer and fall to be completed.
Also reflecting on what went wrong the night of January 7th and what's been done since.
Certainly in the Pacific Palisades, we saw major issues with the evacuation routes, gridlock onto PCH. I am going to continue to insist that these investigations are timely, thorough, and that they are fully transparent.
Of course, the Palisades area being heavily impacted by debris flow going into the ocean. Park says next up, she's heading to Lahaina to get best practices from the wildfires there, particularly when it comes to environmental impact. For now, they're reporting live in Altadena. Angelique Cockaday, back to you in Hollywood.
Angelique, thank you. More still to come on the KTLA 5 News at 4.
Casey Montoya is back and has your forecast. Hey, Casey.
Hi, well, above average temperatures again today, but things are